Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome to a rather lumpy day here for the south coast of England. I'm out today with Kevin and Ross. They are both ex-British champion spearfishers, so pretty excited to see what we come up with today. I've been diving a little bit lately, but I haven't really managed to get anything too special, so hoping to change that today. Certainly not the best conditions topside, but that didn't bother Kevin at all. Kevin started the day off with a nice little pollock. It's not bad. This is actually the same boat that I have in Australia with a different engine on it, so it's nice to be in a nice familiar vessel. With the tide slowing down, we decided to go look for some black bream and cod.
Came down on that drop, hadn't seen too much, and then saw a mullet scurry off around a rock, saw a couple of black bream, and then one came a little bit too close. Not a bad sized fish, pretty healthy looking. See if we can find something else.
With the slack tide approaching, we moved locations in hopes of finding some bass. These fish here were quite cautious, although it's not very surprising given that I wasn't hiding myself very well at all. The bass I was seeing here were only small fish, but one of the larger black bream, that got my attention. Too far away for that one. Back down again in hopes of redemption. When I surfaced, I found out that Kevin had been making very short work of some of the larger bass he had seen.
I'd like a couple of bass, but she's not looking like my day. How big's that one?
Probably about 6.
It's nice fish, eh?
Decent size.
We were diving the exact same area and I wasn't seeing any of these larger fish. My hunting technique definitely needed some refinement. Kevin had his limit of 2 bass and I'd shot a few black bream, so we decided to have a rest before heading back down there in hopes of me finding my own bass. As far as bass consolation prizes go, this was more than acceptable. It was also quite a fishy drop, and I've got 2 hands for a reason. Definitely one of the more unusual double headers I've seen, and by far my biggest lobster. Now that the tide was starting to turn, we had to resort to drift diving for the black bream. This dive here, I was being a bit lazy and I sat right on top of this boulder as I saw the shoal. I would have been able to get much closer to the fish had I just simply dropped the extra 2 meters and tucked myself up against this boulder. They would have come right in on me. Unfortunately, at this dive, the bream approached me from behind, less than ideal. However, swinging the gun nice and slowly ensured that this fish didn't spook. By this stage, the current was far too strong to effectively dive in, so we decided to call it a day.
So Kev, what sort of depth were you getting your fish at?
Yeah, Kev, tell me about these bass, because I was diving the exact same spot as you, and not seeing these bass, of course.
They were just cruising in the open around the rocks.
Really nice fish.
In about, what were we diving, 16 meters?
Yeah, not
that
super
spot,
deep.
something like that, not too deep. Yeah, so I was just sort of hidden away amongst the rocks, and these two bass came along, cruising along, and yeah, I said hello to them. Sort of hidden away amongst the rocks.
That small but crucial detail is why Kevin was seeing larger bass. He was tucking himself in the rocks so you couldn't be seen by the fish.
And did you see any others?
I saw one other large one which I couldn't get, and a few small ones, yes.
Okay.
Which I didn't try for.
I didn't see too many bass. I saw a couple smaller ones, but settled for some black bream instead.
Very nice black bream.
They'll do the job. And the biggest lobster I've ever got in my life, I did have the claw on the other side, but it was attacking my shooting line, so it dropped it after I tried to pull that out. I actually got this lobster on the drop, and then thought, well, I've got a bit of breath hold. It was right at the start, so I shot one of these bream afterwards, which was quite cool. So that looked pretty good on footage, hopefully, if my camera was recording. We've had a few electrical dramas today, sounders, cameras, but hopefully the engine starts and gets us home.
Yes.
But all in all, a pretty good day. Thank you to Ross for holding the camera and being a good sport for us today.
Why is Ross holding the camera?
Because Ross didn't get as many fish as we did. That's why.
Because Ross owes us £2.
Yes,
why.
yes. And a cupcake.
If you ever get the opportunity to dive with excellent spearfishers like Kevin and Ross, jump at the opportunity. I guarantee you will learn something that will improve your diving, and you'll be able to use that information for years to come.